Woke couple use dead son to push an anti-gun message using deep fake technology to bring him back from the dead. No, I am not making that up. These parents literally used their dead son as a political pawn, and honestly, it is horrifying. Watch the footage with me as we delve into this terrible story. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to talk about the unfinished votes. It's a project that's using technology to bring back dead people from the grave in order to spread a anti-gun message and that the orange man is bad. Change the ref says. In 2018, Joaquin Oliver was shot and killed at Parkland school. His parents used AI to bring him back to tell people how voting can prevent these kinds of tragedies from happening to any more families. Unfinishedvotes.com. Now, what I'm about to show you is deeply, deeply disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. But before we break this down, a quick word from our sponsor.
Howdy, partner. The Brave browser protects your privacy and gets you back in the saddle, making it safe to surf the web again, ad-free. Even Vladimir Putin probably uses it. If you do choose to see ads, you get paid for your attention in cryptocurrency. If you're still using YouTube on Google Chrome, then my pet horse is laughing at you. Don't let the stallions of Silicon Valley spy on you and mount you like a prize pony. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
And we're back. Let's roll the clip.
I am Patricia Oliver, and this is my husband Manuel. 2 years ago, our beautiful son Joaquin was shot and killed at Parkland. Every day I think about him and what his last moments must have been like.
Meanwhile, every day, nearly 100 more families lose someone they love to gun violence. Every single day, we keep telling people it doesn't have to be like this. They don't listen.
So, it begins with your typical spiel. Someone we know and love died because of a shooting incident, and now we want to ban guns. You know, the main problem I have with this message is that it is completely and utterly illogical. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. When someone is hit by a car, we don't say, we need to ban cars. We don't say that because it's absurd. When somebody is hurt by a knife, we don't say, we need to ban knives. Why is it that only with guns that we say, oh, we need to ban guns, that will solve everything? It's ridiculous.
So we found a way to bring back someone that no one will ignore.
It's very hard for me to look at this. So please listen to what our son has to say.
I just want to say how deeply and utterly disrespectful, wrong, and what's the word? An abomination that this is. They used deep fake technology to bring back someone from the dead. This is like an episode of Black Mirror. It is a dystopian sci-fi nightmare. I want you to really think about the implications of deepfake technology. A lot of people have talked about fake news, but nobody has talked about the prospect of fake evidence. Let me explain. Let's say that we have two politicians running for president, and one of the political campaigns makes a deepfake of their opponent. And maybe they're saying something horrible, maybe they're doing something horrible. The campaign could come out and say, look, my opponent is doing all of these horrible things, and here's the proof. It's on tape. And then they give them a deep fake of their opponent doing something horrific. And, eventually they're like, wait a minute, this is fake. This never happened. We can prove it. We have an alibi. But by then it's too late. Everybody sees the tape, everyone hears the rumors, and people will make up their minds. The truth will no longer matter. A post-truth society is terrifying. But this is also terrifying by itself. Disrespecting someone's image who's gone and cannot speak for themselves is wrong.
Yo, it's me. It's Guac. I've been gone for 2 years and nothing's changed, bro. People are still getting killed by guns. What is that?
I'll tell you what it is, but it's something you're not prepared to hear. Now, I'm not really talking to Joaquin. I'm talking to the Democrats who made this. I'm talking to the woke couple that used their dead son as a political tool. I'm talking to the woke left. I'm talking to the left. Listen, guns are not the problem. We live in a world that has a ton of problems, societal problems, and those are the reason. There are people who say it's not a gun problem, it's a mental illness problem, and I agree. It is a problem with mental illness. However, and this is what disturbs me the most, we live in a world where all of these people who are supposed to be wise adults don't seem to understand that it's not just a mental health issue, because where is that mental health issue coming from? It's coming from our broken, corrupt, decrepit society. We're leftists. They believe insane things like critical race theory. They want to punish people for the color of their skin, just for being white, for example. They discriminate. They hate. The establishment is corrupt. The media lies. It's a wrong world. Divorce is at an all-time high. Families are broken. People are growing up in single-parent homes. People aren't just sick physically, but mentally, emotionally. Bad parenting, broken families. What does this result in? It results in a generation of abused and neglected children, and it's more than that. Because of feminism, men are being targeted, they're being put down. The modern schoolboy is treated like trash. He's treated like he's disposable. Women get all of the favor. Young girls can accuse men with no consequences, and the data shows it. Boys in this country are in crisis, and this is the leading cause of shootings and other events. Now, out of all of these statistics that I could talk to you about boys who are suffering, the most important one is this. The rate of suicides among American men is 4 times higher than among women. This is because of a modern-day toxic feminism and inequality that unfairly targets men. The society we live in is completely and utterly rigged against men. Men are being pushed down. Men are falling behind in school. They're falling behind in their careers because of bias and affirmative action for women, handouts for women, help for women. Everybody changes the system for women, and this leaves behind men. This is well documented, and even famous feminists have talked about this. Men and boys are being left in crisis. So that's the real cause. That's the real cause. The problem is not guns. And society will never solve these problems, and that is why it's just so upsetting to see this, because the real problem is them. It is their fault, but nobody can accept it. The parents just want something easy to blame, and what could be more easier than the guns? Not the society and children they raised.
Everyone knows it, but they don't do anything. I'm tired of waiting for someone to fix it. The election in November is the first one I could have voted in, but I'll never get to choose the kind of world I wanted to live in. So you've got to replace my vote.
You know what the most scary thing about this is this guy's dead. We don't actually know what he believed. He could have been pro-gun owner, and they're using his dead body, literally, to tell people to vote Democrat and to destroy our American rights. Wow.
Go to unfinishedvotes.com, register, then go vote. Vote for politicians who care more about people's lives than the gun lobby's money. Vote for people not getting shot, bro. I mean, vote for me, because I can't. We've got to keep on fighting, and we got to end this.
Okay, this was definitely in the uncanny valley territory. I was deeply disturbed. I mean, you could tell that something's off about this footage, and I just want to point this out, but most likely, that voice was not deep-faked. It's very hard to deep-fake a voice currently. We're getting better visually, but most likely they hired somebody to mimic their son's voice. This is sociopathic, okay? These parents, instead of blaming guns, they should blame themselves. Nobody wants to take responsibility for the society that has resulted in men going crazy, men falling to mental illness, and men acting out. No, it's just men's fault. No, it's just guns' fault. Never is the problem ever addressed. We know the world we live in is, you know what? We know the world we live in is deeply, deeply distorted. So the sad thing about this is that there are actually people calling this brave and powerful, despite how disturbing it actually is. Fern says, powerful. But I can't imagine how heart-wrenching it must have been for the parents to see their son in this way. Thank you for your bravery. Yeah, very brave. Very brave of them to use their dead son's image to push an anti-gun message. 17 Palm says, this isn't bravery, it's sick. It is absolutely sick. It's disgusting. This is the worst thing I've ever seen, and we are literally living in a dark sci-fi dystopia. Nathan Kohler speaks the obvious. I would hate my parents if they did that to me. Just let me rest in peace. Don't use me as a political pawn. Phil D says, making a CGI version of a dead child to tell people to vote is a profoundly disturbing thing to do. This is where we're at, folks. 2020, American politics. Leftism in action. Vote for Trump, vote for gun rights, exercise your rights. Let's try to ban this technology from ever being used. It's too dangerous. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you want to support the channel, join me on Patreon or Subscribe Store. You can also visit my merch store or one of my sponsors, and sharing the video is vastly appreciated. Look, I'm just going to be honest. A long time ago, many years ago, not online, but in my own life, I predicted that, you know what? I think these shootings are going to increase over time because shootings are not the problem. The sickness of our society is the problem. The sickness of the world is the problem. The darkness of our nation and our planet is what is turning people insane. And they're going to keep going insane until we fix the problem. So what do you think will happen? There you go. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time. I also want to point out that when they say 100 people die per day from guns, 50% of those deaths are suicide, 49% of those deaths are like gang violence, and maybe like 1% of that is from shootings. So, yeah, the actual truth. Adios.